This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister in Imperium Chambers. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button if you want to keep up to date with what's happening in the world of immigration in the United Kingdom. Today I'm going to be talking about yet another reason why we need a entirely new immigration policy, an amnesty for the undocumented migrants, and a brand new Secretary of State for the Home Department, as it appears that the Priti Patel is accused of lying to MPs. If it was any other politician, in particular given their numerous failures and acceptance that their own system is broken, it would surely be time for them to take the honourable step and resign. But apparently, the latest news is that it's been reported that Priti Patel has been less than truthful to MPs in relation to the Napier Barracks fiasco, which we covered a couple of weeks ago. Ironically, any migrant who has applied for a visa in the United Kingdom knows the importance of telling the truth, because if they're found to have been dishonest, they will find their application refused and possibly facing removal. And the Home Office only have to establish that on the balance of probabilities. Why then, people might ask, should Priti Patel be treated any differently? Well, we'll come to that. I pause there to say that if you are in Napier Barracks, or you have been in Napier Barracks, then please get in touch with me, because if you are, I can probably get you out given the number of court cases saying it's unfit for asylum seekers, and if you have been in there, you may have a claim for unlawful detention, as the court ruled that locking the gates made it more like a detention centre rather than an immigration centre. Napier Barracks is the infamous accommodation for asylum seekers in Kent, where hundreds of men were packed into dormitories at the height of the winter's lockdown. Lots of them got COVID, about half I think. 6 of the asylum seekers took the Home Office to court to challenge the conditions in the barracks. The court found in their favour and criticised the Home Office continued policy of forcibly housing asylum seekers at Napier. It's either Napier Barracks or basically living rough, even though some of them were previously housed in proper accommodation. Now it has emerged that Priti Patel may have been not telling the truth to the MPs in the Home Affairs Select Committee about conditions in Napier. In February of this year, the Secretary of State told MPs in the committee that she had followed the advice of Public Health England in relation to Napier at all times. However, as these things will do, correspondence has recently been published that confirms that Public Health England had advised against housing asylum seekers in the cramped accommodation. The Home Office ignored this advice and continued housing people there until September 2020, where they were forced to empty it, but I think they've started putting people back. This shocking revelation means that Priti Patel is facing calls to resign, which one of her predecessors, Amber Rudd, did when she was found to have inadvertently misled the same committee. It's the standards in public office that you're responsible for your department, something that this Secretary of State seems to ignore. Joanna Cherrier of the Scottish Nationalist Party pointed out that what the Secretary of State had said to MPs in February was actually factually incorrect, and the High Court in the asylum seeker case said it was inevitable that COVID would break out at Napier Barracks after the Home Office ignored Public Health England's advice. Notwithstanding this, the Home Office has continued to house asylum seekers at the barracks, despite losing a number of court cases, despite a damning independent inspection early this year, and despite half of the individuals at Napier Barracks having caught COVID at one time. The Home Office, perhaps unsurprising, has refused to apologise or accept any sort of responsibility. This shocking revelation or behaviour ought to be the final nail in Priti Patel's political coffin, given her previous failures and that she'd previously had to resign over dodgy trips to the Middle East and been found to have been a bully. It is quite clear that she is unfit for the position of Secretary of State, given its importance in government. The Home Office, amongst other things, controls bodies such as the police, and that in this regard it's vital that the country has confidence in the Secretary of State to be at least honest, if not fair. And I would say that in the light of what's come out, she ought to do what the other Secretaries of State have done in the past when their department has found to have failed or they've inadvertently misled a committee, and resign. In my view, the only option, sensible option to clear up this mess is to press forward with, as I've mentioned many times before, an amnesty for undocumented migrants. which is now going to be debated in Parliament, and any help from any MP, so if anyone could write to their MP to get it pushed forward, that would be fantastic. And also, as I say, a change in the overall Home Office and UK's policy towards migration, because we clearly need migrants, especially after Brexit. It goes without saying, hopefully a new Secretary of State, one who is more in tune with the public's views in respect of migration. Coming back and finishing with the petition, you can still sign the petition, which will help put more pressure on Parliament to actually get the matter debated. And a debate in Parliament will be the first opportunity where people can actually vocalise these concerns at the government and see how the government responds and hold the Prime Minister to account. Thank you very much for watching this somewhat disturbing video. I hope you all stay well, stay safe. If you have any problems, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you again for watching. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.